Hi, and welcome to Dave Barlow Guitar, and I have on this couch, which isn't mine, if you might have noticed, also this room isn't mine, you may have noticed that, I have the China Guitar Sceptic, the one, the only China Guitar Sceptic. And the reason why I've come to visit him today is because I need some questions answered. So, say hi.
First of all, welcome to the studio, Dave. Really good to have you here, mate. Really been looking forward to this.
Cool.
We've been talking about a collab and chatting together for a couple of months.
Yep.
And I came and saw you play at the Potters,
which
is fairly local,
in
a local town to me. And it's great to have you here, mate. Really good to have you here. So,
glad to be here.
What do you want to know?
I want to know lots of things. But anyway, as you know, my channel deals with slightly different things to what your channel does, but a lot of people start asking me about China guitars, and I don't mean China guitars, I mean like Chibsons, you know, guitars specifically that are made in China, but they are basically what I would call a rip-off.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, and that's the only way I see it, as a rip-off.
Yeah, totally.
Now, some people, you know, I want to know what are these guitars like? I mean, I've got those questions, so let's start with the first question, right?
Let's get one out. Now, I totally agree with you, and in fact one of the biggest fallacies about my channel that I still have a lot of trouble dealing with is that people think that I'm out there promoting these knockoffs, because I bought 3 with a Chibson logo on, I've got 2 with a PRS logo on, and 1 with a Martin logo on.
Right.
Now, when I started the channel, I was looking to buy one because I was sure that it'd be a rip-off. No way could you get a guitar, no way could you build a guitar for the price they were selling at. And at that point, they were going something ridiculous like $160 US.
Wow.
For this. Unfortunately, by the time I got involved in this, they were a little bit more, so I've invested a fair amount with the idea of showing people everything that's wrong with them. The tells, the differences. So I bought, the first one was Maggie, PRS, custom 24, and I was sure that I was going to document me getting an empty box, or a kid's guitar, or a little sign saying good luck, or a fortune cookie, or something like that. But actually, as it turned out, that first one came, and it was a guitar. It would barely call it a guitar,
right.
Do you know what I mean? And so it took off from there. That video got so many views that I was never intending to make a channel, by the way. I don't know whether you got into it accidentally. By the way, love Dave Barlow Guitar. It's one of my favourite YouTube channels. So if you're not subscribed yet, get subscribed, because this man is amazing. And the one thing I like about the channel, if I may say so, is the fact that what you do there is what I try and do, which is to try and keep it as real as possible.
Absolutely.
Be myself and tell people how it is, and I don't profess to be an expert on anything other than what I can show people and what I've got. So going back to the question about the Chinese guitars, no, I'm not there promoting them. I got into it by accident. Simple as that, just by accident.
So just to make this plain and simple,
yeah.
We are not promoting.
No way.
We are not promoting
No.
rip-off guitars in any way.
No. In fact, on every single one of my videos, there is a big long disclaimer in the description which clearly states that I don't promote, I don't even condone it. In fact, I really seriously dislike the abuse and misuse of these trademarks. It really does bother me. And the reason that I carried on buying them is because on the first one that I got, there were loads of faults. The thing was almost, and still to this day, is almost impossible to intonate. Yeah. The bridge is fixed in the wrong position, so the scale length doesn't fit with the fret.
Yeah.
And that's pretty standard on a lot of the Chinese guitars. And so what I did is I bought a couple to show, and to show the tells and the faults, and I got so much positive feedback in terms of people finding that helpful and useful, I did a few more. So in total, I think it lasted about 6 months, my spree of buying these things. I had guitar acquisition syndrome at that point. I've still got a bit of gas, hopefully that's not bothering you.
Yeah.
And so I bought the other 2 PRSs, and I bought one Chibson, which was Mitzi, the purple one, which was a custom, which I've got Tesla Sharks in, by the way, which is what first found your videos from.
But yeah, so these are gear tester
no, these are the original.
Oh, they're the original.
These are the Chinese knockoffs, which are generally badged as Epiphone, but I don't think they are any more Epiphone than this is a Gibson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I bought the Chibson, the Chinese Gibson, was so popular, but it was not bad out of the box. I have to be honest, and that's where I've developed this reputation for promoting them, because the one thing I'll never do with my subs or on YouTube is to tell anybody a lie. What's the point? So when I've had a good experience with these guitars, I've been honest about it. I've still people buying them, and there's such a great alternative, which is what I started doing after a while. I started getting my own logo put on the headstock,
yeah.
and I started getting all the things that were trademark infringements changed. So I ended up with a PRS Custom 22, which was an order that should have been a Custom 24, and that's how wrong they can get it in China.
That's wrong.
Terrible. Yeah, absolutely. And I paid about $400 for that custom job. They had my logo on the headstock, you have abalone outline inlays, the bird inlays,
yep.
but very, very slightly different to the PRS bird inlays. Again, in an attempt to still show what you can get out there without infringing the trademarks. Unfortunately, most people are not that interested in not infringing the trademarks. I get so many people ask me every week, out of all of the comments that I get, the half that I don't delete because they got swearing or abuse in them, the other half, I would say 50% of those are asking, where do I get one of these things? And to this day, I still have not given any recommendations out or told anybody where to get them. You can find it pretty easily, but they are not worth the time and effort. This guitar, for example, this is Greenie Moore 2. Now the reason this is Greenie Moore 2 is because I originally bought a Gary Moore, Peter Green style guitar from, I can't remember the name of the seller now, but it was one of these Chinese sellers, and the thing was cracked at the headstock.
Right. The
typical Gibson thing. Now you'll notice as well, one of the tells is, look at that headstock break angle. Nothing like a Gibson.
That's correct.
It's way less. I mean, what's the Gibson, about 12 degrees? That's
probably,
got to be 7 at most, yeah? So, I don't know if you can see that, but that is about 7 degrees break angle, which is nothing like.
I broke mine.
Because it's all one piece.
That's right.
That's the problem. And what a lot of people were trying to avoid, and this one doesn't have it, is a scarf joint. But actually, that scarf joint on some of these Chinese ones is a really good thing.
It's not
turns the grain.
It's not a raw scarf.
Stronger than one piece of wood by a long way. My preferred method of attaching a break angle headstock. But yeah, these are really. This one cost. But sorry, I was telling you a story, wasn't I? That I ordered this guitar, paid good money to get the first. Nobody had really done a Greenie Moore before I did. And when it came, it had a broken headstock. It was almost impossible to intonate, again because of the bridge position. The pickups were incredibly microphonic. I think it was Mitzi that I picked it up, and people like me going, "Hello, microphonic pickups." Still embarrassed about that video. It's my most watched video and my least natural video of me, because I was still very green at that point in making videos, because it's not a natural thing to do, to sit in front of a camera. I don't know how you feel about that. I always find it quite unnerving and unnatural. But yeah, this one they sent me for free. But I've probably spent a good, I don't know, another £100 sorting it out. I had to put a compensated nut adjuster in front of the 0 fret.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. So on the whole, you know, because I don't understand it, because there are companies out there which order job lot guitars from China, don't they?
Yeah. Harley Benton,
for example, which we're going to get onto. So, what's the problem here? Why is it when you order a one-off guitar, although it's the same as what they're building for everybody else?
That's the thing.
Right.
Right. So, what I worked out from, and you see it on the channel, I've given this information out many times. There tends to be, or I believe there to be, only about between 6 and 10 factories in this region of Sichuan in China that will build the fakes. that are quite happy to counterfeit. I'm pretty sure that all
Right.
the Chinese manufacturers actually are quite happy to counterfeit.
I bet they are,
It
yeah.
seems to be part of their culture. Nothing against the Chinese, by the way. China Guitar Sceptic in name. It's about China guitars, not about Chinese people. I've got a lot of Chinese friends. I always like to get that
Yeah,
in
no,
as
no,
well.
Chinese people, they're
But
cool.
when you go for a custom build, they actually shop around these factories. So any of the stores that you go to on these Chinese websites will have a list and a load of pictures. Those pictures are normally either A, of real guitars, B, of a guitar that one of the factories has
Well,
made.
when
for
you
sale.
say real guitar,
a real
you mean you say the original guitar
Gibson.
from the original manufacturer?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, they'll put up, so they'll trick you, is
Yeah.
one thing. Our PRS, there was some beautiful PRSs there, and when you then see the pictures that they send you before they send the guitar out, they look nothing like it.
So PRS, well known for a really nice flame, aren't they?
Beautiful.
So basically they're going to give you a picture of this flame, which probably be one of their special collectors' flames, tops or whatever they call it.
Custom stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the Paul signed on the back of the headstock. In fact, one of the ones, both of the ones I've got, have got Paul Reed Smith's signature on the back of them.
Right.
Or Paul Lead Smith, I think he might be over there.
Yes.
But yeah, going back to this, the reason that it's a problem is because they're all sharing this information, they're all sharing these pictures out, and they don't bear any resemblance to what you're actually going to get.
Right.
Because when you put your order in, they then are just agents. They go out to these factories and buy something as close as they can get to the guitar you've ordered for as cheap as they can get it, so they can knock it out to you and make the biggest profit they can.
Right.
So there is absolutely zero quality control. All they're interested in is shipping out a guitar, getting something out the door. In fact, one of my friends in Canada, a guy called Telepathic Traffic, hey, he bought a Gibson for his father-in-law, a Gibson clone, and ended up getting an Ibanez gem, a white gem.
All right.
So quite a difference
Yeah,
there, you
that's-
know. Obviously they couldn't get what they wanted. So when you then want a custom logo, or you want to take off any infringements, which I've tried to do from about 6 months into the channel, so 4.5 years I've been trying to get example guitars without infringing the trademarks.
So technically, it's right. So when you do that, you're actually making your own guitar.
Yeah, for sure.
All you're doing is you're just renting the factory and the people in the factory to make it. So
Absolutely.
your spec, say one S-shape, T-shape, whatever it is.
Exactly.
But with yeah.
And that's where the Milton guitars came from, because the idea with that was that I wanted to put my money where my mouth was, i.e. I'm saying to people, look, I don't agree with this, don't buy Chinese nonsense, buy your own custom guitar, because that's quite cool, you know, and I think that's a good idea. Get your own headstock shape, you know, this isn't actually, well, it's not actually close, to be fair.
So obviously this I'm interested in there. So you kind of suss these guys out. You know what the good guys are, the bad guys are, perhaps.
Yeah.
You now got an idea where you're going to put your own logo on it and do your own spec. Obviously you're going to use the general shape of the guitar, which all manufacturers do anyway.
Yeah.
How does that make the quality control any better? How does that?
It doesn't.
Oh right. Fair
The only reason the price goes up is because rather than just being able to go and grab something off the shelf with the manufacturer, they have to then go around and punt to the
Right.
factories and say, can you build this? Then there's a big lead-in time, and also the factories are thinking, well, actually, you know, that's not standard stock. I've got to get somebody to do a special on that one, so we're going to charge a premium. So just for a logo, sometimes can cost you $50.
Right.
$50 US, which is as easy. I mean, they're all transfers underneath the lacquer anyway.
Yeah.
There's no way that that's an inlay. I mean,
That says Gibson with a U.
it does. It's Gibson.
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 Yeah, Gibson.
that's Japanese, isn't it? So
Yeah.
we're going to get really xenophobic if we're not careful. But and it's a Les Paul as well. So
Yeah.
you know, when you go and ask for a custom, it's much better ethically and morally. Definitely, it's going to cost you more, and it's going to take a lot longer.
Yeah.
Because they will go and pump around the factories, find out who can do it, what they're going to charge, and then they will basically come back to you, give you a price, and they'll add a zero, or they'll double it, or they'll whatever. So you end up with the guitar that you asked for, and actually that way you can be a little bit more specific. Like with my very first one was the 24 that turned into a 22 fret.
Yeah.
We lost 2 frets in shipping. PRS with my Milton logo on the headstock, and I saw all the stages of the build of that, so I got sent pictures at every single stage of the build, and I was quite happy with the process. But when it turned up, the thing had a sausage instead of a neck.
Great. This is my next question to you is it, when it arrives and you unbox it, which you do on your channel, lots of unboxing. When you unbox it, you get it out of the box. What do you need to do to these guitars to make them? No, I tell you what. To make them playable, giggable, or okay, let me find the word. The word is like reliable, so you can rely on it.
Yeah. I still would not rely on one single one of the fakes that I've got. I've played them all, obviously. I've done a bit of a setup, as you've seen already. I like my action ridiculously high.
Yeah, you've just upset every Chinese guitar manufacturer. Good job too, probably.
Well, and to be fair, I'm only telling the truth.
Yeah.
They've taken. I've never had one. Tell a lie. Mitzi, the very first Chibson, the purple Chibson, came out of the box. The pickups were awful.
This is the purple one, isn't it? Yeah.
Sounded awful, but in terms of setup, hello, that is the guitar, not me.
It was him.
I haven't got gas again. The setup wasn't terrible. It was playable. There were still lots of high frets. All of them I've had to level off the frets. Stuff that you would not expect to do as a guitar player. Now, I think that any guitar player that doesn't expect to buy a guitar and set it up to their own liking and learn from YouTube or whatever how to set up a guitar to their own liking is probably a little bit delusional. Either that or they need a guitar tech. But you know, you expect to set the action, you expect to check the intonation, because once you've set the action to where you want it, your intonation could be a million miles out. Stuff like a basic setup, you expect people to be able to do. But these were coming with issues with the frets, they were coming with twisted necks, they were coming with broken headstocks, they came, all of them, the electronics in them and the pickups, other than this one actually, which is why I've invested a little bit more in this one, and I probably play it a couple of times a month, just pick it up and have a noodle about on it. But no, they're never going to be, for $200, what people are expecting them to be, and it always disappoints me, because people are always disappointed. They go and they buy them thinking that they're going to throw a new set of tuners on. Incidentally, I've never put a set of tuners on any of these Chinese guitars, they've all been okay.
Okay.
The nuts are usually terrible.
Well, I got to tell you, there are a lot of Chinese made tuners now on the market, which are pretty good compared with, you know, perhaps some makes. I mean, there are some really high profile companies, but I've got a video on my YouTube channel which talks about a manufacturer that basically has their machine heads made not by the original factory but they're made by some other factory, and they're kind of like, and somebody else gets somebody else to do it, a little bit like
a tribute
about a Chibson, which I think is what the problem is. But like there are some tuners out there that are pretty good, you can buy pretty cheap.
Some of the Chinese factories use import, they use Korean import hardware, and I think in the main I've been fairly fortunate, if you want to use that word, in that I think a lot of the hardware that I've got on these is probably imported, because I've seen horror stories of tuners that literally tune it, let go, and it detunes itself just from the string tension, which is, you know. But in terms of setup, once you've got it set up how you want it, and if you can straighten the neck, there's always the issue that they never seem to get this right to me. Now, you put a scale on this and it'll show that it's 24 3/4 there or thereabouts, but there's something, this just doesn't match up. The intonation can change. You set the intonation at 12 and then you then find that it's out of tune up here. You then set it, you know, so that you compensate for that, and you find that 12 is just a little bit out, but down here it's all completely wrong. So I don't think they quite got the concept of the scale length.
Well, that worries me, because if you're going to get like a PRS kind of guitar, maybe with just a wrap over bridge, I mean, that must be a nightmare.
You're knackered, aren't you? If it doesn't sit in the right place, you've only got a certain amount of play on the grub screws, on those, what do you call them, Allen key.
That's right.
Adjusters.
Well, if you go on eBay, you can actually buy them I think they're with the 2.5 or 3 mil. I can't remember which ones they are, but they're actually standard. They're standard saddle grub screws, and you can buy them as whatever length you want.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah, but you still can't move if it's only got a certain amount of play in the bridge itself.
Yeah,
So
I had a Wilkinson bridge on my Flying V,
Love
and
Wilkinson,
I had to. That's an aluminium bridge, which is like really cheap for what it is.
Yeah.
I had to get some longer grub screws for that. So I mean, yeah. But you can only go that way. You can only go one way. You can't go the other.
absolutely. And if it's not in smack bang or somewhere close to the middle,
You're done for.
you're either going to lose it at the G and the E, the low E,
Yeah.
or you're going to lose it at the D and the high E, aren't
Yeah.
you? Because you're not going to get it far enough forward for the D and the E, and you're not going to get far enough back for the E and the D.
So it seems to me, like you tell me about this guitar, it seems to me that why don't you just buy a second-hand guitar, like an
absolutely.
Epiphone, which is something I do on my channel all the time.
Yeah.
Buy a second-hand guitar
Yeah.
and just do the, I mean, I had one. It didn't really fret, but I did it anyway for a laugh. But it's like a brand new guitar.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
brand new frets with the size frets that I want, with the pickups in that I want.
Totally, and that's what I recommend people do. Totally. The only reason I ever bought any of these is to show that they're not that great.
Yeah, but not everybody, right? Not everybody is going to do a fret job. Not everybody wants to put new pots in or solder pickups in. Not everybody wants to do, put switches in and do all this kind of thing and set that. Or not everybody might not want to do all this stuff.
No, of course.
So what do they do? They can't
the
buy one of these.
simple answer is two things. One, they don't buy online.
Yeah.
They go to a guitar shop, which I recommend anybody to do, because I defy anybody to get their best guitar through mail order. I've never had one of my main playing instruments that I haven't been out to the shop, played, had in my hands, sat and noodled on for an hour, and then sort of tried two of the same model if they've got them. That's the way to buy a guitar if it's a serious gigging instrument, or if you're a recording musician. These are projects, and if people actually get that mindset, they'll be less disappointed. If they can avoid doing the trademark infringement, then all the better, and I'm all thumbs up for that, because I'm anti that. But yeah, I've only bought these for the channel, to be fair. And there's a demand for it. People wanted to know, so I told them, and it became popular, so I carried on doing it. My channel for the last 2.5 years hasn't touched a Chinese guitar. There is a Hetfield snakebite, but again, it's got no logos, no nothing on it, no made in or anything like that on it. That I did, that was the most recent one I bought direct from China.
I can see it. Yeah.
It's awful.
Oh, is it?
You will absolutely hate it.
I hate it already. It's white.
Yeah, it's the first white guitar I bought, and actually I'd never really fancied a white guitar, and because I know that I'm not going to play these out, and I wouldn't play a white guitar on stage if you paid me. Oh, the bass, the Harley Benton bass as well. I love that. It's a really vintage cream.
We're going to get on to Harley Bentons, aren't we?
Yeah.
Should we get on to Harley Bentons?
If you want it, it's entirely up to you, my friend.
The deal is here, right?
Yeah.
Because this is still rolling, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is still rolling. We're going to keep with this. The thing is here is if you want something like this, but you don't want to do all the mucking about, there is a way out of this. There is a way out of
Harley
this.
Benton.
Which is a Harley Benton.
Yeah, for sure. And they're fantastic value for money. I've bought about 5 or 6 of them, and I've had minor issues. Minor issues.
Hang on, because I've actually followed Harley Benton for like 2 years now. Well, nearly 2 years. I think maybe a year, maybe just over a year ago, I kind of found out about them. I was looking at a couple of guitars, not for me, but for some other people.
Right.
And I was
students and that.
Yeah. And I was looking at the Trev Wilkinson stuff that he does, which is what they call now vintage.
Okay. Yeah.
It's called the brand is called Vintage. It's called the Vintage brand of guitars.
I've been asked to do reviews on them, but I haven't found one that I like the look of yet.
No, I think in the US as well they have a manufacturer there that does something similar out there, and I can't remember what it's called. There's a few that do it.
I do know it.
When it springs to mind, let me know, because it's interesting. I'm sure there'll be loads of people
Well,
comments.
there we're going to go. It's agile.
Agile, that's it.
Agile.
So right, so I was looking at those, and they are very good guitars, very good guitars.
Yeah.
They're well set up when you get them, and they're great for beginners. They're around about, I don't know, in the UK around about the £400-500 mark, I think, but
which is not cheap.
which is not super cheap.
No.
Now then I looked at the Harley Bentons, and I was following this a German fella. I think he works for Thomann.
Right.
German.
That could be. I can never pronounce.
He's got
his
bald head.
channel name.
Yeah.
He's Henning.
Yeah. He did GitCon, didn't he?
He did.
He did GitCon.
Yeah.
Anyway, so apparently he was not happy about that. But that's another story.
Oh,
so,
really?
No.
Oh, you can tell me that. Tell me all about that off camera.
Off camera, right? So basically, I was following Harley Benton, and he was actually, I think he was live. He was getting these Harley Bentons who were going, that's not right, and he was doing a good job. He was ripping them apart.
Right. Yeah.
Even though I think he's involved with the company,
Yeah.
he was ripping them apart on video. But at the same time, he's doing this thing where, okay, we're going to improve this, and I really like that. I thought it was a really good way of doing it.
For sure.
It sort of goes back to the kind of like the Chapman kind of style of making a guitar, when he started out. Which is pretty cool. But so yeah, I'm interested to hear what Harley. I haven't got a Harley Benton.
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to buy one, but obviously I teach guitar.
Yes.
To people. So
students.
And they're always asking me.
Yeah.
Obviously the kids always tell them to have a Strat because it's kind of light, it's easy to play and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, over to you really. You need to know about Harley Benton.
Well, I started getting into Harley Bentons because I realised that the reason that people were watching my videos was because of the price of some of the major brands are so far out of reach for a lot of guitar players. So I was looking for other budget alternatives because I won't go into the full Milton story, the guitars, but trying to get my own built out in China was impossible. I also tried to get them looked into Korea, Indonesia, India, made contacts. I had a couple of good friends from YouTube that put me in touch with those companies. And to actually get my guitar brand up and going, I was going to need to buy about 50 to 100 of these units.
Yeah.
And they weren't prepared to send me prototypes so that I could check the quality control. And I'm not going to buy 100 guitars to find out they're rubbish. So what I wanted to do is make sure that the channel was fit for purpose and that people were getting what they were subbing to me for and watching my videos for, which is, I believe, value guitars or looking for a cheap alternative to these big brands. Now, again, this is not knocking any of the big brands, but anything over £400 UK pounds, I would consider to be mid-priced guitar. Anything over £1,000 I'd consider to be expensive. So I've looked at that under the sub 400 UK pound sort of market, with the exception of the PRS SE, which I bought for myself because I love blondes. Necks, don't worry, you're alright.
I actually knew what you was talking about. I didn't even fall for that.
But that's the only one I bought that's been more than 400 UK pounds.
Do you know what? I was in a bar. I was in a bar when I was younger because this happened to my son actually a couple of weeks ago.
Right, yeah.
Because this is why it came out. I was in a bar. Yeah, we're just lighting things up a bit, right? I was in a bar when I was younger. We just come off stage, and I had long hair there when I was younger, and I was standing at the bar and I was waiting to get served, and somebody came up behind me and squeezed both my buttocks. I said, "Can I get you a drink?"
Can I get you a drink,
And I turned around and said, "Oh, I'll have a pint, please." You should have seen their face. It was unbelievable. Well, I mean, obviously I'm older now, so my hair's a little bit thinner, but then it was like kind of, whoa, it was like,
Love it.
That's great. Anyway, so
I was just telling you off camera, when I was in my teens and 20s, I had similarly, but mine was bushy. I was like,
yeah,
here.
You was an 80s metalhead,
man,
yeah.
Tees, backcomb and all that good stuff. Going up to the marquee 5 nights a week, loving it. But
Les Paul slung really low.
no, I did have a Les Paul for about.
Hang on. So you was a pointy headstock person, was you?
I was,
Yeah.
and I've still got my Jackson soloist. Love the Jacksons.
Charvel
3DR
right.
with the reverse headstock.
Yeah.
Humbucker single, black, jet black.
Nice.
That's what I would play live, and that is a beautiful guitar. And in fact, if this works out and we do another one of these, maybe we could look at some of our guitars and gear. That would be really nice to do.
Well, it's very interesting
Like that.
because I could bring you my guitar and I put it down and you'll go, "That's not a guitar. There's nothing left of it." I played that guitar so much, there is literally nothing left of it. I pulled the frets out,
Yeah.
and they broke in the middle because I'd worn them down so far.
Oh, man.
There was nothing left of it. So
Wow.
when I pulled it out, they broke in the middle. It was,
Charvel 5.
that's a Model 5. Yeah.
Love it. Because the 5 and the 6 were through neck, weren't they? Is that right? Is that through?
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Through there.
And I think the 5 is Humbucker.
It is, yeah. It is. You're right.
Because the 6 was Humbucker single.
Yeah.
Because that was modelled after the Soloist.
6 had shark inlays.
Yes, absolutely. And they were the right way. They were the Jackson way.
Yes.
Because I think the 3DR, I can't remember now, I have to get it out. I think they're dot inlay. It's my Dinky, the see-through red SR, that I think has got the opposite. No, they're dots as well. I don't know what I'm talking about. I can't remember which guitar I had that had reverse. Anyway, they had reverse sharp tooth.
Do Harley Bentons do reverse shark teeth?
No, they don't. Getting back to Harley Benton.
Harley Bentons do reverse shark teeth.
The Harley Bentons, yeah, I bought them because I felt that, like your students, you know, there's a lot of kids out there, and I'd rather that they didn't get ripped off with this nonsense. So I've focused on finding cheap alternatives, and touch wood, I think it's wood, might be. They've all been great. So this thing that Henning Pauly is his name, Easy Peach or whatever it is, 41. I've seen his channel that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I don't think he's actually employed by Harley Benton, but I think he's really involved with them.
Right.
There's another guy as well, Corey someone.
Sorry dude, thought you was paid.
Oh, that any of us get paid. They love to do this.
He gets paid. He's got like 2 or 3, 4 cameras.
Yeah.
He's got like a couple of assistants.
Yeah.
Happy days.
And he seems to ship over that guy, Glenn Fricker from Canada, to do a lot of stuff with him.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I've seen a few of his videos, really like his stuff. And there's some nice YouTube channels out there.
But don't go to any other YouTube channels, just watch this one for a minute.
This one. And this one. So yeah, that's why I bought them. It was to give good value, cheap guitars, do good honest reviews. Because the one thing, I know I'm a little bit over positive with all guitars I get out, because I'm always shocked at this sort of price range, and especially the Harley Bentons. When they come out, they're not made of plastic and they don't fall apart the second you tune them up.
Have you got a Harley Benton?
I've got several. I've got a couple
Can
of
you get
mine.
one
Yeah,
out?
of course
We
you
can
can.
look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want something that matches the green or a?
He's got loads of guitars filmed here.
Well, we can bring out both.
Yeah, bring out
Tell you
both.
what. What's your favourite? It's a silly question.
Silly question.
You're a Les Paul man.
It's heavy.
And I'm definitely a PRS man. It
That's
is heavy.
heavy.
It is 7.9 pounds, 9.8 I think, from memory. So this one is a CST 24, which is actually, I've got some stickers for those that really want the bird inlays. Go on, what you found?
Scary.
What you found?
Roswell.
Do you know what? This is a Roswell as well.
Are they Roswell?
I actually really quite like them. They're not the best pickups in the world, but do you know, for 197 quid, or no, sorry, 197 euros.
You're kidding me.
I'm not.
That's a Harley Benton.
And it is a floating
It is.
bridge, 3-way toggle, and also that one, push pull. It's tapped. Really nice guitar. Really nice, and actually that one's probably lower than.
Nice finding.
It is, and it's bound right way up the neck. What's more, other than the A, or was it that one? I can't remember. One of these came intonated, beautifully set up. The only thing I had to do was lift the back of the trem up a little bit, loosen the screws off, the springs off, to get it floating.
Okay.
These are great value, I have to say.
This looks like.
Yep.
You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
An Epiphone.
No.
Go on.
This looks like a
ESP.
vintage. This looks like a vintage
A
guitar.
vintage.
They use the same curl.
Do you know, and I love that. I love that flow through, that kind of S through the body, and also the heel on that compared to a Gibson. Look at that heel. Isn't that beautiful to play with? I mean, seriously, that's so much better access. That reminds me of, that's why I said ESP, because I thought you were looking at the back of that, because they've got that model that's got the scalloped heel, which makes it easy access.
Yeah, you're right, because I can't do We Will Rock You solo on a Les Paul, because I can't.
But you can do it on that.
I can do it on that, yeah.
So, really good access. The value for money is great, and the biggest thing for me, and what my channel's all about, is that's legal. That's not the open book, that's their own shape. There's a 3-point on the truss rod cover.
Yeah.
Doesn't look anything like the Bell truss rod cover. That looks nothing like the logo. The inlays are similar, but they're not trademarked. The top hats are not trademarked. Bridge is a import type bridge. It used to have a pick guard on
It does come with a pick
I
guard.
don't like the pick guards.
You don't like pick guard.
No,
You're not a pick guard guy.
I've got a few you can have if you want them. I just like to see the wood, and that's got a beautiful grain on it. It's not a picture finish actually. I'll tell you what they are because I've had the tops off, the pickups out of this to do a shielding.
Is it veneer?
It's a veneer, and pretty much to a guitar, every single one of the Chinese are veneers. That I like the fact that they haven't tried to disguise the fact that it's 2 pieces of wood. They also veneer the back on a lot of the Chinese ones, and you'll see on this one they haven't tried to trick anybody.
No.
They've shown what it is.
Well, still, I got my Flying V I got, which is handmade in the UK in 1982 by Gordon Smith.
Beautiful.
Right, it's a Flying V,
Yeah.
and you can see in the middle, because I've taken all the paintwork off. You can see in the middle there's this line in the middle. Well, it's not even in the middle; it's to one side.
Right, yeah.
And I kind of stripped it back a little bit more just lately because it was getting pretty bad.
Yeah.
And basically, it's made out of 3 pieces of wood. Yeah. I mean, this is 2 pieces of wood.
2 pieces of wood, yeah. But you know that's not a problem because actually the grain structure, and if you look at the grain structure on the back of that, it's running in the right direction, and that glue joint's going to be stronger than the wood anyway. So it's not a problem. I have no issue whatsoever with making guitars out of 2 pieces of wood.
I have no issue with making guitars out of 5 pieces of wood.
No, absolutely.
Really, to be honest with you, I mean, obviously there are people that will just unsubscribe right now.
Of course,
but
there'll be the same people that we won't discuss the tone wood debate for.
yeah, we're not going to discuss that. Do you know what? I tell you what, the way to put the tone wood debate to bed is that basically every guitar sounds different. That is true.
For sure.
That is true.
For sure.
And the problem is when you record them, because I've done this, when you record them, you can't really always hear it. You have to be playing the instrument to really hear the difference. You can't.
And not plugged in.
I've never tried that.
That's where you can hear where the wood and everything affects
But
the
I'm not
guitar.
about the actual sound that comes through the speakers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But the other thing
We'll avoid the tone wood debate.
so we'll avoid that. Let's not get into that.
I've been really careful not to comment on that because
Talking about a tone wood debate, because here's a question you might be able to answer for me, which is completely off topic. I had a guitar which was a Les Paul kind of shape, which was a bit like a PRS kind of Tremonti. I think it was a PRS Tremonti rip-off.
Yeah.
Basically, and all the dimensions were all the same. Everything was pretty much the same as far as I could tell when I kind of measured up against a PRS Tremonti. I think it was an SE one though.
Right. Yeah.
But when I played it, it was thick. I mean, the sound was really thick.
Meaty. Yeah.
Really meaty. In fact, for me, too meaty.
Right. Okay.
And I think that's the only thing. That's the only reason why, in the end, I really liked playing it.
Do you mean voiced or it was bottom endy?
It was just. I don't know. No matter what pickups I put in it,
Sounded.
You couldn't change the sound. So it must have something to do.
With
But
the hardware,
again, that didn't have a top on it or anything else.
electronics.
Just one piece of just solid. It was just too big a piece of mahogany. I think.
Yeah.
That's maybe what it was.
I think that's a debate that can't be won, which is why I've not entered into it.
I think you're probably right.
Because I don't think it's a competition, and that's the thing. Because if you can feel a difference or hear a difference in a guitar based on whatever, whether it be the pickups, which I think are the major factor, whether it's the hardware and how that connects into the body and the resonance transfers through, which I think is a major factor, the nut, which is also where the resonance travels into the wood, is a major factor. Whether or not the truss rod is nice and tight in the neck joint, there's so many things that can affect the tone of a.
No comment.
But do you know what I mean?
No, I agree.
It's so, and I think you summed it up with your very first comment, and I wish the tone wood debaters could just agree the same thing, which is every guitar is different.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that some people can pick up a guitar and look at it, and because it's a PRS shape, it will never play or sound like a Gibson to them. Although you could record it in the studio and a blind test, they may not be able to tell the difference.
Well, a Les Paul shaped guitar sounds Les Paul.
Like a Les Paul.
And a Strat style guitar, believe it or not, sounds Stratty.
Yeah.
And obviously obviously we could go on and on and on about it. Incidentally, I have a Hondo too, which I didn't realise, but I recently found out, someone actually told me, one of my subscribers on YouTube told me, that the body is actually made of solid maple.
Wow. That must be heavy.
It is quite heavy, but I was wondering why a solid block of wood like that sounded more like my Les Paul than any other guitar I got, when it was nothing like a Les Paul.
No.
But there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
And I honestly don't think that it makes a difference. So the main thing with every guitar is every guitar is different, and that is another really good reason why I think that everybody should go to a guitar shop. I'm not saying that online is not okay to buy. If you know what you're doing, you can set up a guitar, but really you don't know what you're getting until you unbox it. And that's one of the nice things, I suppose, about these and about my channel in general, is I've always had some surprises. Not all of them good, in fact most of them not good. I remember when I got my first Milton Custom, and the first thing that happened is all the knobs fell off it. And it's like, oh man.
Good.
But it is always a surprise, and I'm quite happy to do a bit of work on them, a little bit like you do, you know, not to the same standard as you by any stretch, but I don't mind setting them up. I don't mind doing a bit of fret leveling, a bit of crowning, sorting out, you know, issues with intonation, stuff like that. All the easy peasy stuff, swapping out electronics, don't mind that at all. But there's a lot of kids out there that might save up from a paper round or whatever and go out and spend 600, 700 quid on a second-hand Gibson to find actually it's a Chibson. And that really does bother me, that really narks me. And that's why, you know, these will go out before I do. So if ever anything happens to me, here we go, I can put it on camera. My first ever collab. Dave, if anything happens to me and I'm unable to, I want you to promise me to speak to my missus, come over here, and I want you to, on video, break all the headstocks off of these and write all over them that they are fakes.
I will do that for you.
That's what my wife has had has been charged with, because there's no way that anything I've ever bought is going to get out into the market. I've only ever let one go, and that was to a mate that I used to play in a band with, and I absolutely 100% trust him. And you'll know all about that, because he's gone through the gauntlet of getting trust from the China Guitar Sceptic. So that I know is never going to get out into the market. But there's a lot of unscrupulous people out there that are putting them out there and flogging them as the real thing. So that's why I'm advocating people get these rather than the Chibsons and the Chinese.
Sorry. Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Did you do anything to this when you got it? I mean, did you do anything radical to this to make it play the way you wanted it to play?
No.
Did you
adjusted the action? I've checked the intonation. I've adjusted the intonation.
Which is, you do to that with any guitar, right?
Yeah, but I did that as well as I did the unboxing, did a little bit of a playthrough. I think I played through that one, or I might have done the intonation before I played through. And then I've used that one as a demo to. No, actually, I didn't. I demoed that before I set it up, because I did the whole video on setup. So I've done a whole setup video on that one, and also shielding video. So if you look at the back plate, you'll see there's some gold foil peeking out from under there.
Just sit under there.
Yeah, and that guitar I demoed before I did all that on it. So that was actually really good value. I have to say that. For the money, I don't actually know, I was saying this to my bass player about the bass, I don't know how they do it and ship it for the money.
How much?
That I think was €179.
179 euros.
I think.
Because now
I might have been 120 something.
You can buy these in America, in the US of A.
Yeah,
can't you?
Yeah, you can, and I can tell you for now that the shipping is $30 exactly.
Wow.
To get those over there. So you're looking at probably 100.
Do they have to pay tax when it gets?
No, they don't. And actually, that's one of the things that's quite annoying about the Chibsons as well. Most of the guys showing them in the States, A, they're promoting them, which annoys me, and B, they don't pay any import duty on them. Most of the time they just come straight through USPS and straight to their door, and they don't never talk about tax and import duty, whereas I've paid 40 quid on all of them.
But there's no import duty on a Harley Benton?
No, it's in the EU for the time being.
Oh yeah, for the time being. What about if you ordered it from the US?
If you order it from the US, I don't think so. I think that they get shipped out. If there is tax, it'll certainly go on at Harley Benton.
But at least if there is tax, it's a fixed cost because it's a legitimate company, and they can price it.
Absolutely, and they're doing nothing illegal. You know, in fact, even to the extent that still looks nothing like a Les Paul cutaway to me. and I love the heel joint. I prefer the heel joint on that to Gibson.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
And I think Gibson should copy that.
maybe that's why they're struggling. Because
Yeah.
let's not get into that debate, but you know, maybe it's because you know there are some simple things that Gibson should be doing in order to just.
Well, one thing they could do is that they could do what they've done there. Scarf joint. That's got the same brake angle, as you'll see, as a Gibson, but that's much stronger because the scarf joint sends it back that way. Actually, it's probably a little bit shallower, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'd say that's about 3 degrees off of a Les Paul brake angle, but that guitar I like much better than the best Chibson that I've got, which is the one I showed you earlier, this one. And I did a demo, comparison demo, which I'm going to do on this. And
so, well, hurry, you're going to do a comparison demo to all this, so we're going to put a link underneath.
Yeah, we could put a link into the demo between these two, for sure. And I played them at the end. Now this costs twice as much as that, even though it's a fake. From China. I like everything about that guitar, barring possibly the pickups. And this is the only Chinese guitar that I left the pickups in, because these sounded pretty Les Paul-y to me when they first come over. They're the only decent pickups I've had. So I love that guitar. This one, I can never love it because I know what it is. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't love it. It's that cuckoo that arrives in your nest that should never have been there, and you find out that it's a cuckoo, and then you really hate it.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes that happens with guitars. You buy a guitar, you really want it, and then you just, for some reason, you just don't gel with it, and that's just the way it is. So, on the whole, Harley Benton, value for money, we think. Obviously, what remains is what it sounds like, which there'll be a link in the bottom of the video. Yeah. And that's it.
Very good.
So, don't buy a Chibson, basically, that's what we're saying, isn't it?
I've always said don't buy a Chibson.
He's always said that.
Don't do as I do as I say. No, I'd never say that either. People have got to make up their own minds. All I can do, and all I've ever tried to do with my channel, Dave, is to give people the God's honest truth.
Absolutely.
Basically, if I think it's good, or if I think something's good about it, I've said so. If it's a problem, or something's not good, I've said so. I've been really honest all the way through.
If I don't respect you and your channel, I wouldn't be here. No. Also, I wouldn't give you these either. Where have they gone? Oh, here they are. Look, I got a special present for you.
He comes bearing gifts. Yes. Look at this.
I have got. There is only 2 sets in the whole wide world. Mate. I've got 1 set, and you're going to have the other set.
Mate.
Which is my signature.
Whoa, wow. What can I say other than thank you very much? And I've been watching. In fact, where I first got your YouTube channel, when I started watching you, was because of Iron Gear Tesla Sharks.
Absolutely. That's where most people found.
Absolutely. I love that video and I love your stuff. This is really kind, because I think one of these, if I'm right, is a Tesla Shark for the neck, which is the best neck pickup that I've ever put in a guitar, ever, bar none.
It is.
And the other one, I believe, is Dirty Talk.
It is a Dirty Talk.
Which goes in the bridge, which I've never tried, but every time I hear you playing it on your channel, I go, do you know what? I think actually the next guitar I buy is going to get a Dirty Talk in it.
It takes you into that modern rock territory. Not you know. It takes you into the modern rock territory. We're talking, you know, we're talking Doug Aldrich kind of rock. We're talking about that kind of thing.
But these have got DBG on them. DBG. I am absolutely honoured. And I don't know which guitar these should go in. Whether they should. I think they. I'm not going to put them in a Chibson. And I'll tell you why I'm not going to put them in the Chibson, because that would almost be an insult to your kindness. I might put them in that, actually, and try that out, because I think that actually it would turn that guitar, the one disappointment on that guitar that was less than perfect is the pups.
Well,
although they're quite nice.
The reason why I use all sorts of different pickups, mostly from Iron Gear, not because you know. People think, you know, I don't sell them or anything, I don't get paid for Iron Gear or anything like that. I just like them, and the thing is about them, they're consistent. That's why I use them, they don't cost a fortune. No. And the thing is, you can play around with the pickups they've got, so it doesn't cost you a fortune to start, you know, trying different pickups out. But the reason is, Dirty Talk goes in the bridge, because I wanted to get that I wanted to get that kind of Doug Aldrich kind of sound that he's got. I love that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in my band, we always play like, you know, Guns N' Roses stuff. So you need this sweet neck pickup. But you can't, and the Blues Engine does it, but not as good as the Dirty Talk.
No.
And for some reason, with the covers on, it just I don't know. I I mean, I prefer them without colours, but now I kind of go towards colour. I don't know what it is. But
I
anyway,
think
that
the
would be
Les
great in
Paul, I think at our Les Paul, it really does the trick. And actually, it'd be really nice because I'll look forward to doing a video on installing these, if I'm installing it in that. And I think that guitar will be an absolutely incredible guitar.
All you need is a black scratch plate.
Why would you buy one of these trademark infringing things when you can get this for half the price and put something like this in it if you don't like the Roswell pickups?
Roswells, yes.
And I don't mind the Roswells, but they're not as great as the Iron Gears. So, and you end up with a guitar which, as far as I'm concerned, is pretty close on to what you're looking to achieve by getting one of these. And the difference is you can't sell these. And in fact, Dave made me a promise on the end of the video that I'm not sure you got either. No. That if anything ever happens to me, he's going to come over. Now he knows where I live, and he's going to help make sure that these don't get out into general release. And in fact, I'll tell you what, if anything happens to me, they're yours to do with what you want, because he's certainly entered the circle of trust.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
So yeah,
special handshake.
So it's been an absolute pleasure having you here, Dave.
Thank you very much.
Enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it.
I think we should do some more of these. I don't think we can be Chappers and the Captain, but we can certainly be DGB and CGS.
That's the one.
And I think we might do a few more gears.
Sounds like a mouthful, but a very good mouthful. Chew on that.
That's what she said. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Nice one.
Catch you later, guys.
Take good care.